I'll pop the popcorn.
I'll bring the wine.
It's about to happen.
It's his perfect time.
Our very own goal.
It's to intoxicate your system.
It's the work week wind down.
With me, HD.
And Pearls of Wisdom.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Episode 8. Episode 8.
Episode 8. We great at episode 8.
We great at episode 8. Episode 8. 8 means new beginnings.
What?
Come on.
Okay, I'm loving the new beginnings then.
I'm loving the new beginnings as well. Okay. You remember when you were a child and, you know, sometimes we don't know what to say, but we just say what we want to say. You know, especially as a child. I don't know about you, but my mouth was flippant, let me tell you.
Ooh.
And anytime I said something, you know, I didn't think about it before it came out my mouth, but I would hear my mother say, watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth. Meaning, like, that was something that just kind of like stopped you in your tracks.
Literally.
Everything froze.
Yep.
Everything, your sensory just kind of like sensed up or perked up because it felt like everything around you got mad quiet.
It did.
And it was so quiet, like, okay, so bad term, but you can hear a rat pee on cotton. Have you ever heard
That's
that?
what I heard that, you know, but
That's how quiet, right?
But
like,
that's how
so,
quiet it was.
It made you still.
Yeah.
Watch your mouth.
Like the whole world stopped because you knew in that moment you were about to get it. You were about to get it. Like
it was like, wait, what did I say? Ooh, what was I supposed to say?
Correct.
Or it would have been like, okay, so as kids, I know me, like, I was always a smart mouth. I still got it now. Do you see how I be rambling through this podcast? But my mom was like, you know, I told you to do such and such. And she wanted it done now. Like, what did you say?
Under your breath.
Yes.
Under your breath. But you didn't think they heard you.
They got bionic
ears. And my mother used to say, I got eyes in the back of my head.
Okay.
And I used to think that was true.
Because okay, maybe that was their generation kind of thing. Because my mom said the same thing. And I'm like, how she got eyes in the back of her head, like all that hair going on? She can't see. See, that's that smart.
And then don't try it behind their back.
Because they feel the movement.
Felt it.
They feel the
movement. And that made you believe
that they had eyes in the back of their head.
That part.
Said, watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth.
Okay. So on this episode, I totally am. Listen, I love life.
Yes.
I am so glad that God woke us up this morning and we had some snow on the ground. So I didn't know exactly how my travel was going to be. But let me just tell you that he brought light. Okay.
Okay.
The sun is shining.
Okay.
The roads are dry.
Okay.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus.
Hello. Thank you, Jesus.
Okay.
Period.
Represent.
You know.
Okay. Represent. No, we totally thank God for this day. We thank God for allowing us to come together to pour out or into you all, our listeners, our viewers. We thank you for your support. We're just doing what we do, what we've been called to do. And this is not work. It's not a task. It's something that we enjoy doing.
Absolutely.
But it's part of our makeup, right?
Mm-hmm.
With that said, and going with the whole theme of the watch your mouth, I want to talk about, you know, and this might be super spiritual to some, but is normal to others, right? But it's that decree and declare a thing, right? It's that you want to make sure you're navigating through whatever negativity that will probably come because of your spirituality or how you just want the day to flow. You have to make sure you say, God got me. I'm not going to let this bother me. And we're just going to navigate through anything that doesn't feel that will knock us off kilter or invade our peace.
Right. Getting us off track and off goal. You know, some years back, I began to command my day, command what my day was going to look like,
Yeah.
right? Through the power of the tongue, right? And in commanding my day, I also got a chance to hear what was in my heart. The Bible says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth shall speak. So in commanding my day, I got a chance to hear whether it was good or whether it was not good.
Yeah.
I got a chance to hear myself uh, 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 say what was in my heart. And then it helped me to pivot the words that I was using, right? The words that I was saying, to be able to command my day to be a God fulfilling day and to be a positive day. And
Right.
so I would be more conscientious of making sure I'm not having negative speech, right? So then it caused me to automatically examine my heart. But before we go into all of that, I want to go back to the watch your mouth when we were a kid, right? I remember, as we said, the sheer fear that was evoked because I said something that I guess I didn't mean to say or didn't know how to say it, right? As we grow older, we become more mature in the things, right, of life, in how we say what we say. At least we ought to. Not everybody has that story. But we ought to become more mature in the language that we're using.
Yeah.
But but that watch your mouth quieted me as a child. And I remember saying as a child, I'll never say that to my kids. I'll never say that in a way that they feel fearful of speaking what's on their mind, whether they know how to say it or not. I want to hear what it is they have to say, because then it's my job to help them reframe and navigate through their word choices.
Yes.
That's how you grow, right?
Yeah.
Instead of putting the fear of God into my children, I wanted to be able to hear what their heart said and then help them reframe. And it helped them to develop strong communication
Yes.
skills.
Yeah.
I didn't learn communication skills until really I was in my 30s. Like effective communication skills. I was silenced so much as a child through, trauma, through, those watch your mouth, moments that I was afraid to speak. I was afraid to speak. And I remember when I was young, I was a teenager, and I think I shared this before. Um, one of the preachers that was on the ministerial staff at my old church, my home church, he said to me, Pearl, you're gonna be a preacher one day. And I said to him, you got the wrong one. That part. One, because I couldn't see that being something that I was called to, but also I was silenced so much as a child that I never thought that I had the power of the tongue. I never thought that I could tap into, whatever,
Yeah.
to be able to speak to issues, whether they're social justice issues, to speak to my own trauma, to speak to, someone else's trauma, to be able to help. I never imagined to be able even to minister the word of God. I never imagined that would be something that I would be able to do.
Got you. Got you. It's so interesting. When you said like, I will never tell my kids that.
Mhm.
I think as children, adolescents, we always look at our parents and be like, I'm not doing that when I get older, or I'm never going to do that. No, tell my kids to watch their mouths. Like, and I think because my mom did give me freedom. Okay, let me just say this. My mom is 4'9", okay? She got locks that comes below her butt. She walks with an urgency, okay? Like, matter of fact, you're gonna hear her coming before you see her. That she's just that kind of like vibracious
Mhm.
kind of woman. She hit hard too.
Your mine does too.
She's quick
Mhm.
with the hands.
Mhm.
So so keeping it perfectly transparent. Sometimes before the watch your mouth even came out,
Boo.
my lip and my nose was
Celebrate.
already busted. No, no, no. Oh, it felt it, all right.
Yeah,
But it was already busted. And
Uh-huh.
my mom used to have rings on. So she'll be like, watch your, before it comes all the way out, I'm like, she was like, yeah, you got to watch what you say. And then she would talk to you with a level of calmness, like you're not saying you're being. And it just be like, one of those things. But
I ran from beatings.
she meant what she said. Okay, my mother wasn't going to chase you.
And mine wasn't either. I would run and I would laugh my way out of a beating. Because I saw my brother always got it first. So I would not laugh at him. I would just, I don't know, I guess it was a nervous kind of thing. And I would start laughing uncontrollably to the point where it started making my mom laugh. Don't think she forgot about what was coming to me. But in that moment, I got away with it.
Okay, wait, was it like, okay, mom, sorry, I didn't mean it.
Child, I
needed
laughed my way out. No, I laughed my way out. I can't even recall. All I know is I remember, even scenario, but I couldn't go back that far. But I remember the pause, and my mother would just laugh at me. I might have gotten it later, but she definitely gave me a scolding, a talking to as well, because now I wasn't all that mischievous,
Okay.
but if my brother and I would play fighting and got into something, God forbid we broke something, because that did happen several times.
Yeah.
Listen, I remember being I don't know, I was like an adolescent, and I was kneeling on my mother's the coffee table in the living room, glass coffee table, and I had my knee on it. And I remember I was doing something and my knee crashed into that table. I got the scar on my knee to as the evidence till this day. And I was so afraid to tell my mother that I broke her coffee table. I was hoping she would come home. So I took all the glass, cleaned it up, put it in the trash. And I was hoping, mind you, I had this big old gash on my leg, probably needed stitches. And I self-medicated. I went ahead, and when I say self-medicated, mean I went and got the alcohol, the Band-Aids, and all of that. And I just made sure I wore, pants and things that covered it so she wouldn't ask me what happened to your leg. But I was hoping that, someday she wouldn't go into the living room. She'd pass through the living room to go to her bedroom and whatnot, or the kitchen.
Because she like the glass so clean, it's just going to look
Yeah, it's just
invisible.
clean. So it wasn't until she went to go put something down on the table one day, and there was no glass. And it wasn't that far after, but there was no glass to hold her. Yeah. What happened to my glass table? Honey, the fear of God was in me, and I was afraid.
How did you get out of that?
I told her, humbly, very meekly.
Uh-huh.
I accidentally broke the table. And how did you do that? Well, I was leaning on it. Did you hurt yourself? I'm okay, but I was leaning on it, and it just broke. And I didn't get I didn't get in trouble. I got in trouble verbally because I didn't tell her.
Mhm.
But I was afraid to tell her. It was the fear of God, I'm telling you.
They'll do it. They will do it. Okay.
I was afraid to tell my mother I broke that table. But moreover, I was afraid to even communicate because I had so many watch your mouths growing up that I didn't know how to effectively communicate. And I didn't learn effective communication until I was in my early 30s, maybe late 20s. I would say late 20s, maybe early 30s, but definitely late 20s. Because by then I'm a mom of 3 children and a wife. I've got to learn how to communicate, but also I want to teach my children how to effectively communicate. So for me, if I said watch your mouth, it wasn't in the tone that put the fear of God in it.
Got you. It was, don't say that.
Choose your words wisely.
Yes,
right.
yes.
You have intelligence, tap into that. And I want you to use proper words to learn how to communicate.
So proper words to learn how to communicate. Perfect example. So I have a 12-year-old son,
Mm-hmm.
and he's raised to say, yes, mom, no, mom, yes, dad, no, mom. So all children, he's on his game, and I'm like, son. Okay, sometimes I don't call him by his name.
Uh-huh.
Anybody in my family is like, hey, brother, hey, auntie, cousin.
I know you just introduced me to your nephew. This is nephew. I said, oh, hey, nephew. Oh, his name is X, Y, Z. Thank you. So go ahead.
So now you know.
That part.
So if I walk up on you like, friend, how you?
Uh-huh.
Don't take offense. Like, I probably did forget your name, but it's okay. But anyway, I'll be like, son, and he'll be like, yeah. I'll call him his name, and he'll say, yes, mom.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I have my watch your mouth communicative moments,
Uh-huh.
but it's not more so watch your mouth. Now, granted, when the siblings get together,
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole nother thing because they're doing their sibling stuff.
Right.
And we don't, growing up, well, us raising our children,
Mm-hmm.
rather, we don't tolerate shut up. We don't tolerate
No.
stupid,
Right.
that sort of thing. That's
Right.
when the hello,
Right.
watch your mouth
Exactly.
comes out,
Mm-hmm.
right? But again, it's more so of a reminder
Right.
not to say a certain thing. Find another communicative pattern
Mm-hmm.
to use as opposed to
Negative
being
words.
shook. Uh, that part.
To your point.
Yeah,
Right? We don't use stupid. We don't um use those negative terminologies to put someone else down
for sure.
because 'cause that's what we teach our children, right?
Yes.
You don't call them stupid or ugly or
Yeah.
any of those negative words, right? So we train them early on to use words that will uplift. You still can get your point across,
Yes.
but are effective as well. Not only uplift, and maybe not every conversation is uplifting, right? There may be times where you need to reprimand, but even
For
as
sure.
parents, using words that are not putting our children down or making them feel less than
Or just blatantly silencing them.
or silencing them. Oh,
Because
yeah.
so it's interesting. So like when you
Talk
have
about it.
children, you get these funny stories, like because they are just who they are,
Uh-huh.
okay? And
Uh-huh.
you have to allow them to be that. And I remember, oh my gosh, my son had to be about 5.
Mhm.
I don't know exactly what happened, but it raised my antenna to hear and to kind of like listen more because again, I don't know exactly I don't remember exactly what happened,
Mhm.
but his lash out was, you don't understand me. Nobody ever listens to me. And it's like, boy, wait, we say, my life, but something about my life, or you know how the kids, they just, and it's just like, you 5. What part of your life is whatever, but it's also taking the time to really listen to them, right?
Right.
Because again, you shut them down,
Mhm.
you make them feel like they can't speak, can't,
They become voiceless, right? So when you talk about oppression, right? Or you talking about marginalization, the people who are oppressed and marginalized,
us.
people of the African diaspora, right? In all shapes, forms, and shades,
Got you.
right?
Yeah.
Have been silenced for so long that we should, right? Because not every parent does, should consciously make sure we allow our children to have their voice
Yep.
and to let them feel valued. There's the word,
Yeah.
valued. Because let me tell you, the damage we do when we don't value our children or we devalue our children by silencing them.
It sets them up for society to do the same,
Yeah.
or for them not to stand up and advocate for
For
themselves,
themselves.
especially in a time of need.
Mhm.
Now, granted, my mom was pretty strict with certain things,
Mhm.
but one thing she did was let me have a voice.
Mhm.
She would correct me
Mhm.
and, tell me, like, that's not the way to communicate. But also, like, she was very attentive too, sis.
Mm.
Like, she knew when I was stressed out. She knew when I was holding something back or not using my voice. I remember she would say, Malika, what's going on?
Mhm.
And I'm like, nothing, mom, because, sometimes you just don't
You don't want
want,
to tell it.
well, you don't even want to have a conversation.
Mhm.
You don't want correction.
Yeah.
You don't want
Same thing.
input.
Right.
I just don't want you telling me what to do. No, that's smart.
Sometimes you're not in the mood to talk.
Exactly.
Right.
But she would say, she will let me go a
Mhm.
couple of days, trying to nix her off. But then she'll call me for some reason or another just to get me next to her. And
Mhm.
she'll say, your skin is getting dark.
Mhm.
I need you to release whatever it is going on. And sometimes I'm like, Mom, can I just be honest?
Mhm.
And at that point, there is no filter because she know that it's something heavy. So
Mhm.
that's one of the things that, you really have to pay attention to your kids, your
Yeah.
children, to see what the nonverbal,
Yeah.
the body language, all of that is
Absolutely.
going on.
Because you notice those changes.
Yeah.
You notice, at least, I'm not gonna make it a unilateral statement, because not every parent is attentive to their children.
But they know when something is off.
That's not always true, though.
But what about, okay, so
That's your experience, but that doesn't make
okay,
it true. That
that is
doesn't
true.
make it true for everyone. And I'm just speaking from the context that I am currently sitting in today.
Okay.
That's not necessarily a unilateral statement for all parents to say that they know when something's happening with their children, that something's off, something's not right. That's not always true. We live in a society where we have latchkey kids, right?
Yes.
And parents are working, going to school. Some have to work multiple
It's
jobs and so
true.
forth and so
Yeah.
on. Such was the case for my mom.
Got
My
you.
mom was going to school and working a full-time job, full-time student, full-time employee,
Full-time mom.
and having to navigate the
Yeah.
spaces. So she may not have always been able to be attentive to
Got you.
my mood swings, much less what's going on with my brothers. So
Okay.
that's not always true. It's not a
Got it.
negative thing. It's just the
What it is.
reality.
Yes.
Yeah, the reality
Very.
of the situation. So, for every parent, they don't always know when there's a shift, right?
Got it. Thank
Until
you.
it gets to a point where they have no choice but to notice.
No, thank you for that correction because you know what? Sometimes our lenses are not all the way clear. Okay.
Child, I need to clean mine now.
Uh, okay. Okay. But again, like you only know
Mm-hmm.
based on your experiences,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I get it. Whereas like as a result of my mom giving me freedom of speech
Mm-hmm.
with certain things, like my husband and I wouldn't say we would clash, but we would have disagreements in the way we communicate or deal with our children
Mm-hmm.
when it came to chastising them. Because I'll say, like, Tiana will tell this totally different, but
Mm-hmm.
my children never really got whoopings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tiana, she was the first one. Whenever she come on, she gonna tell you some stuff that she feel like she's been traumatized about. Not the case. It had to be a reason for them to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I would notice different smooth mood swings because one, Tiana is very outspoken and she's like the gregarious one. She's always happy. She's always like similar to how I be doing
I
these
was gonna say she
podcasts,
sounds
right?
like her mom.
Like, but when she does not walk in the house with that energy,
And then a
or
shift
when she,
happening.
even now,
Yeah.
like yesterday, she called me and I'm like, what happened? Because you know me, I'm answering the phone like, hey, how was work? You know what, Mom? But you can feel it in your heart.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And it's like, well, what happened? And that sort of thing. My middle one, on the other hand, like, you will know, but for me, I also know she don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to wait for her to come to me, although I notice it, but putting pressure on her to talk about it makes her anxious.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't know what's going to come out. And then it's your fault because you can't tell her to watch her mouth because you should have just left her alone. Right? Whereas my son, I explain, no one understands me. My life is not okay. So I say that to say, like, because my mom gave me that freedom, like I do it towards my children. But my husband has a different upbringing. So he's like, why do you let them talk so much? Because I want to hear what they have to say. I want to hear how they feel. It doesn't matter how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
You told them this and I say yes. And I'm still good. They're still going to do what I told them to do. But sometimes you have to get their point of view so that they feel that they're being heard.
No, 1,000% agreed. That's the shift in parenting structures, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Given all of the news and the information that we have now and access and all of that, and given the mental health rise, right? The mental health
You know
challenges that
what?
are
So
that's
true.
happening in so many kids,
It's so
right?
apparent now, though. It wasn't back then.
Well, it wasn't.
It
It
wasn't.
was.
It,
It's just that it's a different lens now.
yes.
It was very apparent.
But you see how she
It's
took her
just a
glasses off
different.
to say it was a different lens?
It was just a
She's serious now.
it was just a different lens. No, I'm not. It's
No,
not
I
that.
got you. No, I'm messing with
But so I say all of that to say, it's important for us to, you know, um learn. For me, it became important for me to
you.
learn how
Yeah.
to command my day, to realize that I don't have to be silenced anymore, that I have power in the words that I use and choose. And so when I began to command my day, I began to command all of the good. And when I tell you, I remember when I was working in corporate, and I remember going to work, and I remember the amount of stress that I was under, from home life to, going into the job and all the responsibilities.
Yeah.
I worked in marketing, I worked in corporate marketing, and it was a heavy responsibility, and I enjoyed the work, but it was a lot of stress too, because I was responsible for churn reports and different marketing reports, and I was responsible for a lot of things. And if those numbers were wrong, then it could lead to different things. And so I was
Got it.
under an immense
Yeah.
amount of stress, and so I had to begin my drive from home to work to begin to say, today, God, I thank you for today. Today is going to be a wonderful day. Today is going to be a blessed day. And for today, I command that every single obstacle that would have presented itself, um, negatively, Lord, I would use those as experiences, as a catalyst to wherever it is you're going to take me, and that I would open my eyes and my lens to see differently, that I might learn from these experiences. Help me not to internalize them as negative experiences, but help me to internalize them as opportunities for growth. So it was about reframing,
Yeah.
commanding my day is going to be excellent. When
Yeah.
I speak to people on the phone, I will build positive relationships that will be.
Yeah.
I had to command my day. I had to reframe my thinking
Yeah.
from the negative experiences that were happening then, but
Mhm.
also the negative experiences that I had as a child and a
Got it.
teenager
Yeah.
growing up. My mind, my experiences informed my current practices at that time. And so until I got the wisdom
Yep.
to change the trajectory of my life, my day, and reframe, I understood at that moment when I began to command my day that I had the power of the tongue. I had what the word says, that life and death is in the power of the tongue, and they who love it shall eat the fruit thereof. I had to get an understanding of what kind of fruit I was eating.
Ooh, sis, that is so the okay. So as you were saying it, I kind of
Go ahead.
no. I mouthed it because we were saying I get it, right?
Yeah.
Let me just
Yeah.
say though, I love, love, love when you do that. Like she'd be like,
It's him.
no,
Look,
Lord
I'm
God, I
representing Jesus.
love
Today.
well, sure. Look,
Period.
even without the shirt and without the words,
Yeah.
that is what we do, right? No,
Period.
but I love when you do that, right?
Mhm.
Because you bring it back, but you also make the connection to real life and how you can implement
Mm.
what it is that is said. You break it down in layman's terms by way of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Then you give us the scripture.
Mm.
And then it's like, that's what that means? That's what I gotta do? Okay.
We
No,
have
I
the
love it.
power.
I love it.
We
I
have
love
the
it.
power. We do. We talked about that in one of the last episodes. You got the power.
I got the
And
power.
period.
Hey.
And so that watch your mouth now has been reframed to
So
it being a positive statement.
yes, watch your mouth and see what fruit come out of
Come
it.
on.
Okay.
And see where the words that you speak, because you have the power, see the words that you speak, how they will manifest.
and impact the person. You know what? I was reading one of my devotionals and I say, you know what? I'm about to put this into practice. Like everyone that I see today, I'm going to say something positive. So I get to work. I go downstairs to the basement, so I to the kitchen area so I can get a milk to make my chai tea.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And period.
And period. Love the chai tea. Okay.
Yes.
So the custodian was there, but the custodian actually works with the school in another capacity as well. And the chef was there and another worker. And the worker went to take her gloves off because she was mixing food to go and get the milk. So I'm like, no, sis, I'll go and get the milk because you're doing something wonderful right now. And I thank you for the work that you all are doing because you're prepping for these kids so that the food can be put on these vans to go out to the school. They both just kind of like stopped and was looking at me as I am uplifting what it is that they were doing for the people, for the children rather, right? And I went to go and get my milk. And then I walked back and was like, okay, so y'all have a good and wonderful day, okay? I felt the positive energy.
Yeah.
I felt the atmosphere shift, right?
Yeah.
And in that shift, I was reminded of the declaration that was made in my devotional that morning. So now I'm walking back to my office like, she did that. Okay, yeah. No, I was really like, you know what? Thank you, God, for showing me the impact that my words can have to shift that atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure that those workers are going to have a better day because you prompted me because I didn't know my milk was sour in my fridge. So, because I left it there over the weekend, right? But if I would not have gone downstairs, like, so again, we talked about obedience in one of the other episodes, right? And I was led downstairs to go and get my milk, but reminded to use my words, right? To decree and declare a thing in someone else's life. And again, I don't know if the atmosphere shifted for them as much as it shifted for me, knowing the calling that was placed on me at that particular time.
But what was
I
their
did
expression? What was their expression?
when I say, like, they kind of paused and was literally like soaking it up. Now, you know, like, sis, for real, like, cause I'm like vibrant in all of our podcasts. So, you know, I came with the energy. So, you know, I was very animated, but it was out of love and obedience and being very intentional in my wording because I wanted them to feel it here.
And I feel like they did.
I wanted them to know like how important whatever they feel is just part of their job or just minute is when you're doing it for people. You know, so I just wanted to acknowledge them in that moment. One, because I was prompted, but also the feeling that it gave me, knowing that my words were used to encourage, maybe empower, maybe inspire.
Right.
And sometimes, you got to inspire yourself. You have to motivate and coach yourself. I have a whole wall in my office that helps me get through the day.
Why do you feel like you needed to do that wall?
Ooh, sis. Okay, so for those of you who are going to catch this podcast, I mean, no shade. Okay, I'm not going to get all in depth, but sis, sometimes there's trauma in the workplace.
Yeah.
There's negativity.
Yeah.
There's things that other people are dealing with and they will come to the workplace and deflect. Okay. And in my non-spiritual moments, like, I'm going to just be honest, like they be straight pissing me off. Okay.
But that's real talk.
No, it
that
absolutely is. Like, because At one point, though, we were working there together,
Mhm.
and you stopped me from leaving.
I did. I was like, "Oh, no, 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 no. Mm-mm.
Ooh,
Come sit at the table."
sis,
That table in my old office,
that was a day.
that was a table of healing
Facts.
for
Facts.
you and for so many.
No, I'm sure.
No, for real.
Just because the caliber of the atmosphere that was going on at that point in time. Okay. I remember taking every shoe I owned from underneath my desk.
Not from under your
Under my desk. Because since I will come to this work with my UGG slides on, I would
Okay.
be comfortable. But when I came for the meetings, y'all heard me coming like, click, 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 click.
I
Here I
did.
come.
Here come Malika, them clogs, the
Yeah.
brown ones with the
I
I
sis, do
love
you know,
those shoes for you.
you know those shoes like 7, 8 years old?
You said that.
Yeah,
You
like
said
they are.
that.
Well, I didn't like going shop. Okay, never mind. That's in a
It's
whole nother
okay. Okay.
episode.
Okay.
But
Back to the matter at hand.
all them shoes was in a bag, packed up. Like, yes, because I would come to work and be in my office, but when I had meetings, it was like, no, you need to be professional. So that I did. But yeah, all of them shoes were at home that week. Even though sis calmed me down, when I left, I still didn't know if I was coming back. Right?
I'm glad you
Because
did.
I know. You know what? I was talking to my sister-in-law the other day. In fact, I need to call and check back in on her. But I was talking to her the other day, and I'm like, Sissy, I love you. I say, you know what? It's because of you. Okay, so she's a whole Virgo. That whole mushy stuff, like,
I
let
can
it
hear her
go.
voice now. But go ahead.
What you talking about? Like, you know, like, if she
Uh-huh.
hear this, she gonna be like, here she go mocking me. Yeah. And I'm like, do you know if it was not for you, I would not be podcasting with my sis right now.
Mm. Yeah.
Moment of silence.
Yeah. We need
The
that.
power of obedience,
Yeah.
though.
Oh.
Right?
Oof.
Um, yes, I was about to go on a whole nother. I love you, sis.
I love you too, sis.
Like, this is dope.
God is amazing. He does things in his perfect time. Right? And you don't know, but I needed you at that time, of you coming and accepting the position just as much as, you're saying, you needed me in certain times while you were there. Because workplace trauma is a real thing. And sometimes we feel silenced, right? And depending on, some workplaces they're very hierarchical, right? Where you feel the power dynamics, and sometimes you feel like you don't have a voice, or your voice is not valued, in the workplace, given your position or whatever. And I'm thankful to God, for God sending you to the workplace, so that I could meet you, so that we could be sisters and have this bond. Like I said, the first 3 days, like that week, I knew we were going to be connected for life. And I don't typically, with people, connect with people, specifically sisters, like that. I don't, not, but it was something about your spirit that I knew God said she is going to be. So even when even when I was going to leave that workplace, we were going to be connected for life. And I had no idea in what capacity. I had no idea. But you have been healing. And even now, even still, I thank God I'm not in a place of, where I am uncomfortable in certain aspects. Like, I don't have like the nervous feeling and the nervous energy. I got to make sure, all my I's are dotted and T's are crossed, like I'm this perfect being. Because sometimes you could feel that way, in work, and sometimes you could feel that way because people make you feel that way. You have to make sure that all of these things are aligned. Because, you don't want to make anybody look bad, or you don't want to make the department or the organization or the industry look bad. So it's a lot of stress that comes with, and I thank God for you coming into my life at that time, because as much as I was the voice of reason and the prayer warrior and for everybody else, you came into that base in place and you were that for me. So when I shifted and left the school that I was working at to work for the central office, in the school, I had my sister. She was that for me.
Got you.
Pam. Pam was
Mhm.
that for me in the workplace there at the school. And then when I got to the department, I was that for everybody else, but I had nobody to be that for me. And you came there and you became that for me. And I'm not even gonna lie, some of my colleagues, they put me through the test, honey. They put me, I feel like if I ever had pledged a sorority, that I was being hazed. I never pledged, but I hear the stories. But I felt like I was being hazed, real talk, all seriousness. I felt like I was being hazed, like they were trying me because of the position that I had.
Mhm.
I felt like, I had to, you know, one, I'm always going to bring my full self to every environment, place, and space. And so I felt like they were trying to break me,
Yep.
and for me to submit to their way of doing things. And sometimes you got to come in and you got to change systems and shift atmospheres.
Yes.
And there was no
Yes.
way I was coming in as this new person into this department
Yep.
with my own way of thinking and methodology of doing things and organizations and so forth.
Yep.
I have I'm not toot my own horn, but I have high executive functioning,
Mhm.
and I felt like they were trying to break me and shift me to do things their way, which was the old way of doing things.
Yep.
And I brought in innovation and I brought in
Yep.
new systems and I brought in these different ways of that I kind of pretty much implemented on the school level.
Yep.
I brought that into the department, and they were, when I tell you, they were not having it. It got to the point that there were so many microaggressions, to the point where I had to tell one young lady, I said, and it came off so disrespectfully the way she said what she said to me. And I'm not going to go into the details,
Fine.
but I had to stop. I said, I'm going to stop you right now. And I don't know what you think this is, but whatever you think this is, it's not that. The mean girl treatment that you all have been giving me, it ends today. So I had to
Mhm.
find my voice. Remember, I talked about how it took me a long time to find my
Yes.
voice. I had to find my voice in the department at work, because it was almost borderline toxic. And I was stressed out.
Mm.
I was already stressed out at the volume of work that I had to now do,
Got
okay,
you.
in this
Got
new
you.
role, and making sure that, my boss looked good. I was already stressed. I already had my own level of stress and the things that I was now responsible for doing. But then I had this mean girl treatment in the support team that I was responsible for
Yeah.
overseeing. And I was just like, no, we're not gonna do this.
Yeah.
This is not what this is. And I had to tap into to my power,
Yeah.
use my words, and shift their way of thinking. When I realized or came to myself to understand that, you know, I am not going to allow the enemy, in whatever form the enemy wants to come in,
Yeah.
to interrupt and disrupt my peace.
Yeah. That part. That part.
And so I'm going to open my mouth and I'm going to come on, and I'm going to speak to the legions
Yeah.
of demons.
Ha!
And they going to be cast out. I'm going to call them by name.
Come on,
When I
word.
tell you, I met with these two women and I called out their behaviors. I literally
Mhm.
named the behaviors and gave scenarios from the instances, to the point where it silenced that behavior, not them, but that behavior.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah. Watch your mouth, moreover.
Oh yeah, nah. Calling out the demons and the legions and all of that. That was like shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, watch
Yeah.
your mouth. See how mom said, well, you know what?
Yeah, we was going back to the watch your mouth from the beginning.
Well, we gonna
But yeah.
rename this to open your mouth.
And yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
No, for sure. No, I get it, sis. And everything that you explained, I'm not even gonna say that was prior to me coming. It was, but it also was there when I got there.
Mhm.
You know?
Mhm.
And again, piggybacking off of what you said about the level of experience and the executiveness in my walk of life, this was totally new to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not used to this particular environment, but I'm a Gemini and I'm a chameleon and I can just adapt to, all of my circumstances and environments, which makes me a boss. Okay. Okay. Right. So, however,
Mm-hmm.
y'all was not going to boss me around. You were not going to treat me as if I was that small, but I never had to show or point out my own accolades in order to try to raise myself up above others.
Right.
I've sat next to people who you can't even imagine. But do I need to say that? Nah, I'm just going to walk it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because there's a certain level of integrity that you must have in any and all environments that you're going into, especially when you have already honed in on your purpose and your value and your worth, right? Sometimes it's not worth allowing people to see or even give them a glimpse into knowing who you really are. Because I will walk around in a minute like, you know who I am? I'm the daughter of a king, okay? Yeah, I actually did say that a couple of times because I had to let them know, like, Satan, back off, okay? Back off of me. But I go back to the board in my room, right? So I have Bible quotes. I have affirmations. I have positive self-talk.
Yeah.
I have written all of these things on my board. Like, my office is a safe haven. When people come into my office, similar to how we used to come into your office, that's my space. You're not coming in with negativity. Now, granted, people will come in to vent, but they know what they say there stays there.
That's right.
And people who are not really genuine, do you know they cannot come past my door because my office is so prayed up
Come on.
that they will feel that they're an outsider. They will already know. Like, I went to open the door for somebody, like, oh, come in. And I have my conference table right there, whatever. But they will close the door and stand up against the door, sis.
Yeah. Because they're uncomfortable.
As they should be.
Because it's a spirit within them that makes them uncomfortable. And, we've got to be mindful.
It's not my fault. Okay, good.
We've got to be mindful of how we show up, especially those who profess Christianity, right? Who profess Christ. We've got to be mindful, right? We all go through stuff. Life is lifing for everybody.
Yes.
But if we are not mindful of how we're showing up, are we representing Jesus when we go into those places and spaces? Real talk, So we don't gotta beat people over the head with the Bible and all of that.
No, definitely not.
The word says, "Let your light so shine among men, that they would see your good works and glorify your God which is in heaven."
Hallelujah.
So that's how you illuminate the dark places. That's how you shift atmospheres.
Yeah.
That's how you tap into the power that you have on the inside of you. It's not your power, it's the power from on high.
Preach.
It is the power, right? The anointing that God has given you, so that when you walk into atmosphere, into places and spaces, that people know there's something about her.
Yes.
And so, speaking to that toxic work environment, right? We can experience we can have toxic work experiences, but it should not dictate what we say and how we say it. You haven't met anybody that everything they do, everything they say rather, is negative? I mean, like, you walk into the room, good morning. Well, I don't know about that. But it's going to be a good morning today.
Today is a good day.
Because I walked into the place.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing Jesus with me.
Hello. Wake up. Knock, knock, knock. I'm with you.
So we got to start our day in a way that's healthy. In a way, especially when we are in community with others. In a way, we shouldn't bleed on other people.
No, for sure. Let me just say, like, people, because I remember still being fairly new there. Okay, sis, I'm gonna throw you under the bus a little bit too. But
throw me all the way on the bus if you
I'm just going to tell him to be parked. Like, don't move. Like, don't drive.
Okay,
Like, he
okay,
not
okay.
gonna roll over you.
Go ahead.
He's not gonna roll over you. Okay. So I remember, I had to walk into certain offices, certain atmospheres, and they didn't like the shift. I will be told, why you always happy? You got way too much energy. But guess what? You gonna know when I'm coming. So you know what? I probably get that honestly too. Because remember, a little earlier I told you like you're gonna hear my mom before she even comes. I think I just explained as I will put on my heels to come upstairs. Okay, or how I will be. I will. Okay, so I'm laughing internally, right? Well, no, outside, but internally I'm thinking Tiana would be like, she came and she put this song that she sing to the kids on my phone, and it was like, "Good morning," and the way Tiana does it, like, it's so annoying. But I say that to say because when I walk into the room, I'm like, "Hey, good morning, good people." They'd be looking at me like, "Calm yourself down." Right? Wait, okay, I'm gonna fast forward. So, sis, I remember come into your office one day and you might have been doing payroll or you could have been doing resolutions. Sis would have her door closed, both of them. She had an in and an out. I only got it in and an out. Like it's one way in and one way out my office unless I decide to jump out the window. I just thought about that. You had two doors.
Okay.
Okay, I guess
Most
that's
people have
irrelevant.
one door. It's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, anyway, I came up to sis' office one day like, "Good morning, Marshy." She said, "Okay, so I'm really busy." And you got a lot of energy right now, and I just don't have it. And I was like, what? Like, all right, fine. You finish doing whatever you're doing, and I'm gonna come back this afternoon when you take a break or you take lunch if you decide to. But no, I wasn't offended though. But I'm just saying, like, my point is, I come with a lot of energy, right? Because when you have that light inside of you, again, you're going to places, you're shifting atmosphere, you're changing the dynamic of conversations. When you enter the room, they need to know that you're filled and full with that light, that godliness that God has instilled in you. And guess what? Some people like it. They want it too. It's going to lift up their day. It's going to empower them. It's going to be like, you know what? I know when she come, I'm about to be lifted up. I know I'm going to laugh. I know that she's just going to bring the energy in, like you said, right? Or similar to something you said. But for me, if God is not going to be there, I don't want to be there.
And sometimes that energy is not loud. Sometimes it's a quiet and soft energy, but it's an energy, it's a presence and a peaceful presence. So either way, whether it's loud, whether it's calm, either way, it's the presence of God that comes in any given moment. No, hold on.
Wait,
No, hold on.
I had a joke,
No,
but go
hold
ahead.
on.
Okay.
In any given moment, it's the presence of God that comes in one way or another. And but you know when it's not the presence of God. You know when it's a negative spirit, it's a negative.
That part.
There's nothing good. We know because we've experienced it in the same place, right? We know. You know when it's just like, okay, what is wrong with them? And they don't even have to say a word.
You feel the energy.
You feel it. I had that experience just last week, and I won't name the day, but I had that experience just last week, and I was just like, okay. Now I'm heavy in grief and whatnot, and like I don't need that.
That was team too much.
Yeah, it like, and the person didn't say a word. It was their spirit that was loud and disrespectful, and they never said a word.
Guard your grill, knuckle up. Okay, no,
we didn't do any songs today, but go ahead. What joke were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that whole peace and quiet and silence that come through. That's what she wanted that day that I walked upstairs like, "Good morning, sis." Yeah. That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, because especially if I was doing payroll, child, you want your money right? Oh, okay.
That part, all of it. Like, yeah, that's why I just was like, okay, bye, I'm gonna leave now. It's all good.
Right.
She wanted that silent peace, kind of feeling. Yeah, no, I ain't have that. I had all of this energy. So yeah, it was good energy. All right. We thank you so much. In every episode, we like to try and talk about our women-owned businesses, authors, different platforms. But we like to give back. And just promote our people. So, sis, I'm going to let you.
Yeah. So I'm a part of a research group, and I was sent a kit. It's called Project SOAR. And it's for women, Black women who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. And this organization, Carries Touch, I've mentioned before, has partnered with UCLA, and they're doing research. So I'm a part of this cohort. And then we're studying or reading and parsing this book by Thema Bryant, which is she is in her own right. She is actually, I believe, the president of the American Psychological Association. And it's a national organization. So she's the president. I'm going to tell you, she is a clinical psychologist and 2023 president of the American Psychological Association. She is also a professor of psychology at Pepperdine University and ordained minister in the AME Church, which is where I'm also ordained. Dr. Thema earned her doctorate from Duke University and completed her postdoctoral training at Harvard Medical School, and has more than 20 years of experience in trauma recovery. And so we're reading this book, Homecoming. And when I tell you the book, I mean, in reading it and journaling, I mean, I'm crying. I got my journal over here. I'm crying. I'm reflecting. And she says, homecoming is a decision to occupy your life, to engage with what animates you and breathes new life into the dry bones of your circumstances.
Wow.
So when we talk about workplace trauma, we have the power to come home to ourselves and to realize that although this person or these persons may have these experiences and may want to create a toxic work environment and cause me trauma by how they're showing up to me in the workplace, I have the power to come home to myself and speak to my own dry bones. I have the power to command my day.
Yes.
I have the power to choose my words, where I don't have to watch my mouth,
Open your mouth.
but I can open my mouth and declare a thing over my life in
Yes.
the workday, in the workplace, regardless of what happened before yesteryear, regardless of where we were in the workplace before, even if we're currently experiencing workplace trauma, right? We have the power to speak something new. How do you want to show up? How do you want to show up to others? How do you want to come home to yourself? Remember, out of the abundance of the heart, what? The mouth speaks. And so when we open our mouths, what are we speaking? What are we sharing?
We have to speak life.
We got to speak life.
Yes. We have to speak life, sis.
It's so important because you literally have the power to change the negative circumstances of your present and your past. You have the power to change it, to influence it, to make an impact, to be positive,
I love that.
to shift.
Yeah.
Right? Reframe.
Yeah.
Remember, I told you, I said when I was younger, I wasn't going to tell my kids to watch their mouth, watch your mouth. I was going to tell my kids, you have the power to choose the right word. I'm going to train you. I'm going to teach you. It's my job as their mother to train them to communicate more effectively.
Yeah.
Right? It's my job to empower them to not watch their mouths, but to open their mouths. And when they open their mouths, they're going to be equipped with the things that they can communicate with effectively.
I love that. Yes.
Right? They're going to be built up with emotional intelligence, right? To be able to effectively communicate not only with others, but also communicate effectively with themselves.
So important. So important. But that is also why I feel that as parents, we're our children's first teacher, right? They learn by doing. And we have to continue to pray over them, but not just pray over them, to instill Christ in their lives so that they know him for themselves, so that they can also hear that voice that he gives them on the inside to speak up and out and open their mouths using their words with
Yes.
confidence.
So, to that end, thank you for joining us for our 8th episode of the Workweek Wind Down Podcast 2.0. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Follow us on YouTube, Workweek Wind Down Podcast. Follow our social media at Pow Made Media, POWMEHD. Hello.
Media, baby.
On our social platforms on Instagram and on TikTok. We thank you for joining in. Thank you for all of those who have been supporting us from episode 1.
From episode 1. Really quick, you know what? My baby girl said to me, "Mommy, I just caught up on your latest episode. You were winding down to level up. Listen, I clicked it and I liked it. And so I was your first like. I already know."
I
I
love
said,
that.
"Oh, thanks, babe.
Thank you, baby girl. Thank you all for your support, family and
Appreciate
friends.
you."
We appreciate you. And even beyond family and friends, because what I realize, we may not reach our family and friends, but there's a broader community that we want to encourage you to open your mouth and speak life, because power is in your tongue. God bless you.
God
Thank
bless
you.
Good night. Have a wonderful work week winding down. Okay. With Pal Made Media, baby. Because we did that. Okay. Okay.
So until next time.
Until next time, be blessed. Use your words to uplift.